Zechariah, peace be upon him, used to dedicate a part of his time to carpentry to provide for his own needs and the necessities of life through the labor of his hands, and to assist the poor, the needy, and the less fortunate with the blessings provided by God. Most of his time, however, was spent in the worship of God and in calling the children of Israel to monotheism, urging them to distance themselves from sin and immorality. This was because they were accustomed to wrongfully consuming each other's wealth and transgressing against the messengers and prophets, even going so far as to take innocent lives unjustly. Their prophet Zechariah, peace be upon him, called them to worship God and refrain from injustice, but they refused. However, he did not lose hope and continued his call to them to have faith, seek the truth, and follow the straight path, despite the severe harm inflicted upon him by them. The devil and his allies had taken control of them, benefiting from the spread of corruption and injustice, and they opposed knowledge as they saw it as a threat to their interests. Knowledge, on the other hand, is the path to monotheism, justice, and equity, aiming to eliminate oppression. After finishing his work and inviting people to God, Zechariah, peace be upon him, would go to the mosque, where he found nearness to God, security, serenity, and regained his energy to continue his call to God. He also took the opportunity to care for those around him, offering them guidance and advice. Zechariah, peace be upon him, saw in Mary, peace be upon her, qualities of piety, righteousness, intelligence, and virtue. This is not surprising, since Mary was the daughter of a prominent leader among the children of Israel and a knowledgeable individual among its devout and righteous scholars named Imran. Imran had wished for God to bless him with both sons and daughters because his wife had not borne him any children. They prayed to God and supplicated with humble hearts and tearful eyes, asking for a son. Imran's wife vowed that if God granted her a son, she would dedicate him to the service of the temple in Jerusalem, the house of the holy. God answered their prayers, and Imran's wife became pregnant. However, her righteous husband Imran passed away before the child was born. When she completed her pregnancy, she gave birth to a girl and named her Maryam, the devoted one. She was unsure whether to fulfill her vow or not, as she had pledged to dedicate her child to the service of the temple. However, she decided that a male child would be better suited for temple service than a female, and she quickly resolved her dilemma and fulfilled her vow. Mary was a pious individual, and she prayed to God for protection for herself and her descendants from the accursed devil. Her Lord accepted her prayer with favor. Zechariah took on the responsibility of caring for Mary and included her in the care of his wife, who was Mary's aunt. As Mary grew older, Zechariah provided her with a separate chamber in the house of the holy where she could devote herself to worship. She would ascend to it by means of a special staircase. Mary, peace be upon her, dedicated herself entirely to worship, spending much of her time at the prayer niche, and she would frequently engage in supplication and prostration to God. God chose and favored her over the women of the world. One day, Zechariah, peace be upon him, entered the prayer niche and found Mary glorifying God, with fresh fruit beside her that was not in its season. He was amazed and asked her, "Where is this from?" Mary replied, "It is from God. God provides for whomever he wills without account." When Zechariah saw this extraordinary provision from God, he was not deterred by his old age, nearing 100 years, and he turned to God while standing in the prayer niche, supplicating to be blessed with a son. At this point, our discussion on the first part of the story of the prophets Zechariah and Yahya, peace be upon them, comes to an end.